Hello, my name is Jason McCartney. I'm an ITS project manager with Gannett Fleming here in Philadelphia, and I'm here to present on intelligent transportation systems on behalf of the Young Professionals in Transportation YPT Philadelphia chapter. So I'll start off with a quick introduction. I'm a Michigan State graduate who moved to Philly shortly after graduating. I've been with Gannett Fleming working on ITS and tolling projects for my entire career, which included a one-year trip living in Doha, Qatar, where Gannett Fleming worked to help get the Qatari roadways ready for the 2022 World Cup. Since I've been back in the States, I've been a Queen Village resident where I live with my wife and two kids. So let's talk about ITS, and I'll start with the basics. ITS is the use of technology on a roadway to improve motorist efficiency and safety. The most common ITS devices are the ones that you've seen on roads around Philly, like the ones listed here, including CCTV cameras, dynamic message signs, and various others. And all of those devices get connected back to a traffic management center like the one pictured here, where operators are able to view the information provided by roadside devices and communicate directly with motorists via dynamic message signs. So why do we deploy ITS? First off, ITS is a way to make our roadways more efficient and maximize the capacity that we already have. This can be a better solution in locations where adding capacity is cost prohibitive, like on the Schuylkill Expressway, or in locations where adding more capacity will likely induce additional traffic demand, as shown in the chart on the left. We know from history that adding more capacity can often just get more people to drive. Adding extra lanes is certainly a way to address recurring congestions, but ITS should be a tool in the toolbox as well. And adding ITS can be a very cost-effective way to improve a roadway. When operators at a traffic management center are able to respond to incidents faster and communicate directly with motorists about the roadway conditions, we make the roads safer. Now, here just are a few basic ITS elements. On the left, there's a CCTV camera. This is used to view and verify roadway conditions and help emergency responders have a better real-time understanding of what's happening in the case of an incident. And in the main picture, there's a dynamic message sign used to communicate directly with motorists, the variable speed limit sign over on the post to change speeds based on real-time conditions. And they're hard to see, but there's also detectors hanging off of this sign as well to help generate some of the travel time data that we post on these message signs. Now, ITS projects come in many shapes and types and colors, including design bid build, and P3s. Some of the project on the top right is actually from a P3 out of state, and we deliver projects through a lot of different mechanisms. Those projects are often focused on something else. There might be a bridge project that's adding more ITS or a roadway widening that needs to relocate some equipment. So ITS project designers need to be able to understand what's going on with a project that's not focused on ITS and be able to adapt to the needs of that project and make the ITS system work. ITS is also very multidisciplinary. It involves obviously ITS design, but also structures and geotech. We have to be able to design the electrical supply and the communications connections to a device, which really requires an ITS designer to be a strong communicator, to be able to connect all the dots and make the entire system work. Now, what do I really do on my day-to-day as a designer? So I'd start off by saying I do a lot of design, developing plans using my own understanding of how ITS works, but also a lot of Google Earth, a lot of going into Google Street View. ITS is often designed around the periphery of a project, and we often don't have a very high detailed survey to work off of. So do a lot of design, making the best of the information that we have. Need to be able to juggle projects. As I said, we're often an add-on to a project with a different focus, and that means that ITS doesn't really lend itself to the multi-year roadway projects that some other disciplines work on. So we need to be able to juggle projects and jump between states with varying standards and shift from one type of work to another without wasting much time. Because of that, and because of the interdisciplinary nature that I touched on previously, you need to be involved in a lot of meetings. Meetings to coordinate aspects of the design with other experts and to understand the technology needs that we're trying to address on the corridor. And lastly, we do a lot of writing compared to other engineers at least. So the FHWA requires all federally funded ITS projects to follow the systems engineering process, which requires reports and a lot of planning and verification that we're following the plan that was originally laid out. So ITS designers have to be comfortable writing and following these processes to finish projects. Now, talk about my career progression in the ITS field as well. So, like most engineers, we start off doing a lot of drafting, and you need to be able to learn while you're drafting. In my group, our junior engineers do most of our drafting. We don't send that off to like a drafting tech. So that is really where you get to get into the nuts and bolts of things and really figure out how to make an ITS design work. I would also say that field visits and getting that field experience to understand how a system actually plugs together, what it looks like in the field, so it's not just a symbol on plan view, is a very important part. So early on in my career, I know I took every opportunity I could to get out on the roadside and actually look at the pieces of equipment and see how they actually interconnect. And I think that's incredibly important, and I did that quite a lot. And no, I'm addressing this out of order, but getting licensed. With most people watching this, know the value of licensure, but I would stress to anyone early in their career, get your EIT and P as soon as you can. You're way better off overstudying once than you are understudying twice. So get that licensure and help yourself take the next steps. In ITS, I think that there are really two different buckets that career progression generally falls into: technical and project management. They're both equally important, but some people gravitate towards being a technical expert, solving hyper-complicated problems and being that subject matter expert in their field, whereas others want to manage projects, lead groups, and take on the more managerial and leadership side. But regardless of which of those approaches are taken, it's so important to be technically strong and a strong communicator. I want to talk a little bit about networking and the importance of doing that as well. Obviously, you're here watching a YPT presentation and you understand this. So I'll just hit on a few of these topics though that I think early on in a career, my day-to-day involved a lot of internal networking. I got very involved in employee resource groups, committees, and even doing things like organizing happy hours with your group. I think especially early on in your career, that internal networking can be just as important as external networking, if not more so. And external networking, like we're doing as part of YPT Philly, is also incredibly important. So it's a great way to advance your career by getting involved in professional societies. I have done that myself. I'm one of the chairs, one of the founders, I should say, and the past chair of IBTTA's Young Professionals Council, and I've been involved in ITS Pennsylvania as well. I would encourage anyone, if you're interested in expanding your network, really embrace professional societies. They're a great way to grow your career. So with that, thank you, and I look forward to meeting everyone at the meet and greet. Bye.